Hi there, hope you're doing excellent today. Happy 4th of July. This is going to be a reply to Carlos, who emailed me yesterday. First of all, I want to say thanks, Carlos, for reaching out. Super helpful to get questions. And, I hope that I can help you with this reply, but, it's super helpful because a lot of people have typically like the same type of questions, and they can also benefit from this answer. So with that said, let's jump right in. And as I sometimes like to point out, nothing I'm going to say today is like medical advice. It's just, whatever I say, you have to decide if it applies to you and if this is something you should be doing. That said, let's jump in here. So yesterday I got this email. Hello, Dr. Erickson. I'm going on 4 to 5 months of chronic insomnia. I have listened to your YouTube channel and grateful for the content. I'm struggling with two particular components of CBTI, racing mind and stimulus control. I have followed the protocol about as diligent as possible. I'm on week 4 of CBTI and I'm very desperate for some help. My sleep restriction window is 1:30 a.m. until 8 a.m. Most nights, it's a struggle to get to that 1:30 mark because I'm so sleepy. My sleep drive is really strong. I even almost fall asleep sitting up when doing my wind down routine of meditation and relaxation most nights. I know I'm sufficiently sleepy and exhausted. However, the moment I get into bed, my mind is so hyper aware of the task at hand and is counting down to nightly battle of stimulus control. Most nights, I have to get in and out of bed 3 times. By that time, I'm too exhausted and discouraged to keep going, so I just lay in bed with a defeated, sad, and exhausted spirit. My psychiatrist gave me a trail of clonazepam, 0.5 milligrams, to get me a few nights per week of sleep in parallel to the CBTI, and then taper off and continue with CBTI. However, I tried it last night with the same exact results. I was exhausted and sleepy, and when I hit the pillow, my mind began its countdown of why I am not asleep yet. This time, I could feel the medicine trying to knock me out, but my mind was resisting it. After the 3rd time up with sleep restriction, I gave up hope. The sleep I get is light and fragmented. I feel like I have a massive struggle with sleep latency. And if I don't win the beginning of the night, I have an ultra fragmented night and wake well before my alarm. I have tried your tips, muscle relaxation, cognitive thoughts, imagery, even guided imagery and guided meditation while in bed just to see if anything works. My sleep log shows no pattern that I can utilize, and I'm at my wit's end. This is ruining my life. Any help would be greatly appreciated. Wow. Really, really sorry to hear this, Carlos. And, it's very clear that this has a big, big impact. And, that said, I think there's a lot that can be done here that can be helpful to you. And, I always try to be as positive as possible. And, the fact that you've discovered CBTI, I think that's good. A lot of people never do and never get better. And the fact that you wrote this email to me, I think that's really, really great too. I mean, that shows that you are, you're motivated, you're trying, you want to get better. Now, let's get practical here. You have this sleep restriction window, which is 1:30 to 8. And so that's the window of about 6.5 hours, right? Am I counting right? Let's see, 1 to 8, that would be 7. And so 6.5, yeah, exactly. Which, typically is very, very appropriate. I note that, your 1:30 is fairly late. I guess that you're a little bit of a night owl, and that's totally fine. But as you're seeing here, you are so sleepy, just before you go to bed. But as soon as you hit the bed, that hyper arousal kicks in. Classic, insomnia symptom. I feel so tired, but as soon as my head hits the pillow, I just feel super alert. And the thing with that is the following, that when you have that, by the way, I wanted to say this because I think it's really good. You may have heard this already, but Talking Insomnia episode 12 with Nick Wignall, I think is really, really good. It talks a lot about how he calls hyperarousal when the brain goes into turbo mode, and he talks about how you can't there's no way to kind of think yourself out of that. Once you're in the bed and your mind is turbo mode, it's hyper aroused, it's racing. You can't think yourself out of that. You can't meditate yourself out of that. You basically have to do something, get out stimulus control, get out of bed and do something that isn't an attempt to make yourself sleep, but rather something that you hopefully even enjoy, that you like doing, that just keeps you from thinking about sleep. Now, so that's a little thing, but I think this one may be even more important here. It's clear that you're sleepy before 1:30. Now, what can really be helpful is something that I learned from Michael Schwartz, a colleague and friend. He uses this technique called like the ditch the clock technique or ditch the clock method, which I think could be really, really helpful. And it works as follows. So let's say your window is like 1:30 to 8. Then what you do is like an hour before that window starts, let's say 12:30, you make that the last time that you check the clock. So 12:30, you're like, okay, from now and onwards, I'm not even going to check what time it is. I'm going to go completely on how I feel. So 12 o'clock, 12:30, you stop looking at the time, and you do that for the entire night. The only thing that's fixed and set is like 8 a.m. You have like an alarm set for 8 a.m. And then after 12:30 a.m., if you feel like I'm pretty alert, then you do things that you enjoy. If you enjoy meditation, do it. If you enjoy reading, watching a movie, Netflix, podcast, whatever you enjoy doing, do that. When you start feeling like, okay, I'm nodding off, I'm feeling sleepy, you go to bed. And you don't know what time it is. You just go to bed and see what happens. And if that happens, like you go to bed and you immediately feel alert, okay, then you can try the mental imagery, like try to kind of imagine a nice place, and if you feel calm, then you can stay in bed. But if that doesn't work, if you start feeling frustrated in bed, then leave the bed. But the key thing here is like ditch the clock and just kind of go by emotion. That can be super, super helpful. So that's one thing I thought about. Now, there was another really important thing. Clonazepam, I talk sometimes about medication. I think, I generally speaking, I feel that if somebody has been on medications for a long time, then sometimes it's best to like kind of stay on that medication until you sleep good on the medication. You build a good like sleep confidence, and then you can taper off. When it's like more of a let's see how this works, let's do a short course, things like that. I'm generally speaking, I haven't seen that is very effective. Let's just put it that way. And Carlos, the fact that the clonazepam didn't help you may have been like you dodging a bullet, because when people take a medication, any medication, including clonazepam, and they like then sleep great, that kind of messes things up, because then that implies that you can't sleep on your own, that you need this outside substance to sleep, and it really can erode your sleep confidence. You can really start believing that I can't sleep on my own, I need this external thing to sleep. And then when that's not working anymore, you're like, okay, I need another external thing to make me sleep. So just a little comment on that. Now, and this is another important thing you say in the end here. I've tried many things: muscle relaxation, cognitive thoughts, imagery, even guided imagery, and see if anything works. I mean, when you say see if anything works, I read out of that like I'm doing that to see if it will make me sleep, which it cannot. None of those things can make you sleep. If you enjoy like muscle relaxation, if that makes you feel good, it's always a good idea to do it. If it makes you feel relaxed and you enjoy that, that's good. But whenever you do anything with the intent of that making you sleep, which it cannot, it always backfires, because then it becomes like, okay, I'm meditating now, I'm hoping I'll sleep. I meditated 5 minutes, nothing's happened. How do I feel? I still feel stressed. Let me go on. It's been 30 minutes. It's been 45 minutes now, and I'm still not sleeping. You see, like that just leads to a point of frustration. So I want to say this, like, try as much as you can to respect like the wake up time, no matter how terrible the night was. That's kind of number one. Try the ditch the clock thing. Like, don't watch the clock at all. Go completely on emotion. Like when it comes to like if you have a sleep diary to fill out, just fill out on exactly what you feel. And then now comes the other thing, which I think honestly is maybe even more important than the classic CBT, more important than bedtime restriction, than stimulus control, than learning about sleep efforts, than anything else, is focusing on your day. Meaning, make sure that every day you do something that is maybe new to you, something that you enjoy, something that is completely separate from sleep, that just distracts you completely, and keep track of it. Like, make it part of your sleep diary. Like, make a goal for every day, like something that you're gonna do that's fun, that you enjoy, and like kind of hold yourself accountable to that too. I think honestly, like for most people, once you learn kind of the basics about insomnia, what's becoming more and more important as the further you go along is like shifting attention away from sleep and like shifting it towards like things you just like enjoy doing in the day, and then sleep will follow. So Carlos, like, stay in touch. Let me know what you think about this episode here. Anybody else that has any question, comments, please, as always, love comments, or send me an email, daniel@insomniainsight.co. And for everyone that's stateside, happy 4th, and I will be back very soon again. Let me see. Was there anything more I wanted to ask? No. Let me just turn this off. Okay. Have a real good day today. Bye-bye.